This Week in Assassin was as if someone took high school drama and put it on steroids. Before I get into the actual story that is Assassin Week 2, it's important that I mention this rule that I forgot to mention last time. It's called the floaty rule. Now, what the floaty rule does is it basically gives you a second life as long as you're wearing a giant inflated floaty around your waist at the time of you being shot. So, as you could tell, I really wanted to win, so I would walk around literally everywhere in public with a giant inflated floaty. Second thing, this week is going to be very confusing. So, die. Give me that fire aspect. This week is going to be very confusing, so I'm going to tell you the names right now, and then it's going to be your job to remember who they are later on. Now, first there is Jerome. Jerome is my friend, and he is not in the Assassin game. Second person is Mario, as well as Juan. Now, these two people were the people who were trying to kill me. And then the fourth and fifth person are Bria and Emily. Emily and Bria were our two targets. Those were the people who we were trying to kill. Now, for the actual story of Assassin, it started off the same as last week, except in this week, we couldn't get any kills. We tried for 5 days and could not get our targets whatsoever. So, we kind of thought that we were going to lose. But on Saturday, I get a phone call from my friend, and he says, "Hey, Jerome is here with Mario, and they want to have lunch with us." And I say, "Tim, you're stupid. Why would we want to have lunch with our assassin?" And he says, "Oh, well, Mario's out of the game. He got shot this morning." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, in that case, yeah, sure, why not?" But I'm going to wear my floaty anyways because this sounds kind of sus. Bye. Next. So I'm like, okay, so that sounds kind of sus. So I'm going to go ahead and wear my floaty anyways, just in case this is a plan to, like, get us out or something. So I'm like, "Tim, you should probably do the same." So we both go in and have lunch with him the entire time with both of them. And yeah, nothing happens. We're both wearing our floaties, nothing. So at the very end, as a symbol of our trust for them, we take off our floaties like idiots. And then Jerome goes ahead and pulls a water gun out of his asshole or something, because it literally came out of nowhere. He pulls a water gun out of his asshole and he shoots us both. And so we're out of the game. And I'm like, "Hey, wait a second, you're not in the game. How are you allowed to shoot us?" And he said that he switched places with Juan, because Juan wasn't feeling well and he didn't really feel like playing the game anymore anyways. And like, how is that fair at all? Were we just supposed to avoid all our friends and just pretend like we don't have it, like a life, that we don't have any friends? And so she's like, Jerome's like, "Okay, well, that's not really my problem." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call the leaders of Assassin now, because that's kind of messed up." So I call the leaders of Assassin, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, you're kind of right, that is kind of messed up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let you be alive, but we're also gonna let Jerome and Mario stay in the game, because they did actually shoot you." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine, whatever." So we still had the problem of trying to kill our targets. Now, let's go ahead and get out of there, just in case. Oh, he's really low. I'm like, okay, we still have the problem of trying to kill our targets. So what I did is I said, "Okay, Mario, you should feel really bad about this, because that was really messed up. And you're going to help us win and get our partners out." And we basically guilt tripped them, and it worked. You need to die. GG. Next. We guilt tripped Mario, and we managed to let him help us. And here's where I came up with this genius plan. I was hoping that Bria did not see the video of Mario getting shot and saying that he was out of the game. So I said, okay, if Bria hasn't seen that video, then what we can do is we can go over to Bria's house, and we could say that Mario is going to try and kill us at Bria's house. And Bria's going to be outside the window recording for him. And so once she sees that me and my partner were out of the game. Wow, that's some serious lag. Jeez. Once he sees that my partner and me were out of the game, she'll be like, oh, okay, I could come outside and be safe now, and then we could shoot her. That was the basic premise of the plan. Here's how it went down. Mario forgot his water gun. So how is he supposed to shoot us? That was the first problem. So what I did is I accidentally dropped my gun while right in front of Bria. I dropped my gun so that Mario could pick it up and then shoot us. This looks much better than it actually looked, or it sounds much better than it actually looked. It was probably one of the most cringy things I've ever seen in my life. Like, if I would have seen it, it would have been one of the most cringy things. So Bria opens the door to her house, and she says, that looked really weird, so I'm going to stay inside my house as my door is open. And we're like, okay, but we just got shot, obviously lying to her, saying that we're out of the game. And she's like, I need to stop glitching, please. So we basically just beg her to let us shoot her to make us feel better about ourselves, is basically what happened. And she fell for it. It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. We were like, oh, just let us shoot you to make us feel better about ourselves. We're like, we're out of the game anyways. Oh, this guy's gonna blow up his island. Get out of there. Did he survive? Where is this dude? What? So we're like, yeah, just let us shoot you to make us feel better about ourselves. And she's like, oh, okay. So we ended up shooting her. And obviously that means that we got our target and we were good to go for the next round. So we got super happy and we ran away. And she sees us running away, like, super happy and laughing. And she goes to Mario and she says, wait, what just happened? And she found out that she was out of the game. And so now she gets super upset. And she calls the authorities. The authorities being the leaders of Assassin. She calls the authorities. And she's like, hey, they lied to me. That shouldn't be allowed. Which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Because someone not being told that they're in the game of Assassin is different from someone who you knew was in the game of Assassin lying to you. Those are two completely different things. So she complains, and now the weak leaders, being who they are, they're like, oh, okay, you can go on to the next round. So basically the summary of this week is that all three teams made it to the next round, and it was all for nothing. Now, if that's not some BS, I don't know what is. You need to die. Thank you. So we survived another week in this treacherous game. It was at this point that Assassin actually began to not get fun anymore. It began to get more stressful than anything. You need to stop running. It began to get more stressful than anything. Bye. Jeez, stop running, dude. So, yeah, that was this week in Assassin. The drama just increased like a little bit. But it was still very dramatic for me. This was a week of just torture. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Assassin, my lowest point in life. And week 3, I have to remember what happened because this happened like 3 years ago. So I hope you enjoyed this episode and stick in for the next one. Peace.